Good morning. Day 193 of cold exposure is complete. Fourth day of work this week. I got back in the gym after a week of deload. Just giving myself a little break, and it's nice to come back and get really sore and get back into the grind and push yourself. And I was some cayenne pepper got in my nose. I was like getting set up for like a new mesocycle. That's just like a block of training. My brother thinks I deload too often. I do like every 6 weeks, but I train close to failure, and you can't continue that kind of training for long. It's very taxing on the joints, and that's not what I'm training for. I don't want to keep putting unnecessary strain on my joints when you're training that close to failure. So the first 2 weeks, I'm either 3 or 2 reps away from failure. And I just go one step closer, until the last week I'm going until I could not get another rep if I had a gun to my head with a good form. And so that's where I cut it. And I think a lot of people are so far away from that when they train. And for muscle building, anywhere from that 3 reps in reserve to failure, you're getting about the same growth. And the reason I go closer and closer each week, because it's progressing. And if you're only staying at 2 reps in reserve, either A, you're lying some of the weeks on if it's 2 reps in reserve or not, or B, you're not progressing and you're staying at the same. And I much rather like going closer and closer to failure each week, because it lets me know A, that I'm improving, B, that I'm going harder than last week, and C, I get a deload. It's nice. It's a little mini reset. I can change up exercises if they're not feeling good, but I'm sticking to the program the majority of the time. Sometimes I don't go in for the deload week. I'll either just do stretching or some active recovery. But some days after a long day and I'm tired, I don't want to go in there and just do warm-up weights, because that's basically what it is. It's normally like your same weight, half the reps, or half the weight and same reps, and it's not always fun. And when I get into more serious bodybuilding training, I will do those deload weeks. But right now, when I'm just trying to get my weight up, focus on arm wrestling still, and do other areas of improvement, I think it's okay that I take just that week off, or do some of the deload training. I love making new plans though. I use the RP hypertrophy app, which is Renaissance Periodization. They are where I've gotten a lot of information from, and a lot of concepts for hypertrophy I learned through them. And they have an app that basically does all that I've been training with. Each week it'll go down a rep in reserve. It will keep the same weight for each exercise. So some people go in and, like, let's say they're doing dumbbell bench. They'll start with the 40s, and then they'll go to the 50s, then they'll go to the 60s, then they'll go to the 70s, and then they'll like max out on the 80s. And they'll just do one set on the 80s. Or I would rather do all my sets with the 70s. Do one warm-up set, like half the weight, like 35s, and then go straight into the 70s and do all 3 of my sets or 2 of my sets with the 70s. And I think this is better because you're training at a certain intensity with the weight that you want. You're wasting energy going up 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds to get to your working weight. Why not just do 5 to 8 reps with half your working weight, then go to your working weight? That's what, it just makes sense to me. And I know everyone's got to train for what their goals are or how invested they are. It's just, I like to be optimal. I like to do the things that I know are going to help me. And training is just an amazing outlet, and there's some creativity too, because you have to design your plan, you have to prioritize which muscle groups you're trying to build. And this cycle I'm working on core, so abs and glutes are really a focus to keep my posture. And there's certain hip movements that I've never trained or focused on, and doing that with my stretch, like doing the hip flexors, the split squats, and a bunch of other things to try and get this area balanced and controlled. That's what I'm doing for this one. And it comes out to kind of full body 3 days a week or 4 days a week. Just one of the days is glute focus, and the other day starts with legs. And then I'm doing biceps and back with glutes, and then chest and triceps with legs. And I just finished the leg day, and it was good. I like going through the full body now. I used to train, when I first started, I did the bodybuilder split, which is like chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, legs on Wednesday, shoulders on Thursday, arms on Friday. And that was good, and I liked it. But I wish I would have started with maybe full body or upper lower. But it's nice to be able to change up your split to whatever your goals are or whatever season of life you're in. Like if you're really busy and you just want to go and hit full body 3 days a week, that's perfect. But if you want to go insane mode and do 2 a days for a couple of the days, hit like quads in the morning and biceps and forearms at night, and like there's a lot of things you can do with splits. And I think it all depends on your training age. And I think that full body is probably the best. My video cut out from my 6 o'clock alarm, but I was just saying that I think full body 3 days a week is probably a very good point to start at as a beginner. Just learning your body and seeing what your weaknesses are. If you're going through all the muscle groups, it's pretty easy to figure out where your issues are If you have low back pain, it might be glutes, or it might be upper back, or so on. Finding those weaknesses helps you to move forward and strengthen around those weaknesses. And that's something that I'm trying to do now. I never really prioritized stretching and mobility, and that's something that I'm having to go back and start over with at a beginner state. There's so much about the human body that is amazing and wonderfully made, but we have to take care of it. And how our lifestyles are now, it's not fit to keep our temple healthy and active. So it takes work, and you have to do the things that will help to strengthen your weaknesses. Sorry for the longer video. Just felt inspired today. I hope you guys have a great day. Spread peace, love, and positivity.